Android.
Now at 9, Joplin residents challenged the city's approach to homelessness after a woman gets ticketed for camping.
Southeast Kansas Recycling, a Pittsburgh nonprofit, says they're at risk of closing by the end of the year. I'm Samantha Walker, and I'll have that story coming up.
And Miami residents get an update on the former BF Goodrich site cleanup tonight.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
One woman's story sparks a movement. What started as a routine police encounter with a homeless woman in Joplin has ignited a petition drive calling for policy changes. This is KOAM News. I'm Tanya Bach. The incident over the weekend is now raising questions about how the city treats its most vulnerable residents. KOAM's Ty Park sat down with the parties involved to dig deeper into the issue and the ordinances involved.
That her blanket and her food bowl are considered camping gear. My dog's food bowl is considered camping gear, which is not, because it's dog's food and water bowl, and that's why it was camping gear is prohibited.
Kayla Head was waiting for the mini Hackney Center to open Saturday morning, and when she was ticketed for camping. The police chief tells KOAM that Kayla Head violated the ordinance by taking up the entire bench that Saturday morning. It's not the first time she's been ticketed for related ordinances, and it has a group of residents forming a petition to take to the city council.
Jail for essentially tickets that came from jaywalking or sitting on a bench inappropriately, nonviolent crimes and non-threatening crimes that end them up in jail because they don't have any resources to pay their fines, so they don't go to court.
The petition is calling for the city council to end ticketing and arrest for nonviolent survival-related actions. I want to see these resources redirected toward housing and support services.
Getting the word out there and letting people know how the homeless individuals in our area are being treated, because there are certain places where they know to go throughout the day that they won't get in trouble.
Mayor of Joplin tells KOAM that they are working with area agencies to address and help those in the homeless community.
We definitely cannot police our way, arrest our way out of homelessness in our community. It's going to take all of us working together with compassion in our hearts to do the next right thing and help those citizens who are a little down on their luck right now. But that does not excuse anyone in our community, whether they be housed or unhoused, from breaking the laws and the ordinances that we have on the book that governs how we are going to conduct ourselves inside the city limits of Joplin.
Oh, I don't know why they're doing this. We're doing the best we can, trying to be on the list and do everything we're supposed to try and get housing, and it's not moving forward right now.
In Joplin, Ty Parks, KOAM News.
Joplin city officials tell KOAM the unhoused community is given grace due to their circumstances. The petition can be signed up until October 20th. Joplin police arrest a man after a shooting at Hillside Estates last night. Officers responded to gunfire reports around 9:30 p.m. Investigators say a disturbance between several people at one home escalated when a man pulled a handgun and fired multiple shots. The shooter fled to another residence but surrendered to authorities 2 hours later. No injuries were reported. The suspect remains in the Newton County Jail while prosecutors review formal charges. Voters in Miami, Oklahoma approve a $14.7 million school bond today. The 12-year bond will build a new elementary school to replace 2 aging buildings from the 1950s. Washington and Roosevelt elementary students will move to a modern facility at Will Rogers. The bond also funds plumbing and HVAC improvements at Nichols School. Supporters say the new building provides a safe storm shelter and ends class cancellations due to weather. A fire damaged a business in Afton, Oklahoma last night. Flames struck the Green Country Cafe on US 69 around 9 p.m. Afton's fire chief says the fire started in the kitchen area, but smoke damaged the entire building. The Green Country Cafe had closed before the fire began. Chief Meteorologist Doug Hetty joins us now with a first look at weather.
It definitely turned out to be another warm one for us today, back into the 80s once again. And we're going to see this continuing as we go through the week. All right, so by morning, mid-60s to start, go into the mid-80s again on Wednesday afternoon. In fact, we stay into the 80s all week long. Now, we get some thunderstorms in here as we go into Friday night. That's a cold front. That's going to cool us down just a bit. Nothing out there right now. Pretty much clear skies, a little bit of ground clutter kind of popping up on the radar. but we're going to see pretty much clear skies. Through the night, we drop back 63, 64 degrees. As we go through the day, we warm mid 80s during the afternoon, and then we'll slide back into the mid 60s once again as we go into tomorrow night. 82 for a high today, well above our average high of 72. We're going to look at those thunderstorm chances for you here in just a bit.
All right, thanks, Doug. For more than 2 decades, the SCK Recycling Center has been helping Crawford County residents go a little greener. But now those running the nonprofit say it's at risk of closing as soon as by the end of the year. KOAM's Samantha Walker has more on what community members should know.
The team at the Southeast Kansas Recycling Center are known for crushing materials, but now they're crunching numbers.
Supplies, overhead to run things, insurance, the cost of labor to run and operate a facility of this size have only increased, right? And so there's not been the ability for us to make those ends meet, so to speak.
Now this tunnel behind me is where community members can come and drop off their donations. But according to Southeast Kansas Recycling, for every car that goes through that tunnel, they're on average losing about $10.
It is incredibly difficult to run a full-fledged collection operation relying primarily on donations and the cost of the things that we sell that, as I said, have not been historically super high.
The recycling center serves primarily residents in Crawford County, but helps people from all across the 4 states avoid landfills. The center is mostly funded off community donations and from profits from selling recycled materials, but right now it's not sustainable. And if something doesn't change, they could close by the end of the year.
We have about 2 months worth of operating funds in our bank account right now.
The center is actively taking steps to try and sustain itself, meeting with a consultant to learn where to make cuts. It's why staff have extended hours and closed the reuse shop, which was losing money.
But even with those changes, we have not seen, and even the consultant had indicated that there will be some level of public support needed for this to work long term. As a nonprofit, that's going to be part of the operating procedure.
He says the best way to help the center stay open is to become a member and consider donating. If you can't contribute financially, volunteering also goes a long way.
If ever there was a time they wanted to get involved, to step up, to help out, now is the time to do so.
Reporting in Pittsburgh, Samantha Walker, KOAM News.
The center is currently partnered with Crawford County to offer a hazardous household waste program, which helps support the site financially. Staff say they have also been speaking with the city of Pittsburgh about a possible recycling pickup service, which could offer the center more donations and financial stability. Eager students filled the Overman Student Center at PSU this morning looking for future career opportunities. Local businesses and organizations stood ready at this year's Fall Career Fair to give students a glimpse into the workforce. And for one PSU student, the fair offers a chance to create connections for the future.
Well, there is always, with AI, you have to be careful of using it to help you along your way, but not using it to make your own way. Like asking, as a starting point. I know multiple people, and we've had people in some of my classes come in that work in industries, and they will use AI as a starting point, but they need to build off on it on their own.
Representatives from industries across the area participated. Well, coming up next, sniffing out cancer.
Meet an adorable dog whose job it is to sniff out cancer. I'm Nate Foy in New York with more on these pups with a purpose next.
And later, record U.S. oil production drives gas prices down across 33 states.
We are warm again for...
We all know it's important to stay on top of regular cancer screenings, but what if we could put it in the paws of experts? One health startup is now using dogs for early detection of cancer. Fox News correspondent Nate Foy has more on these pups with a purpose.
Like all beagles, Iceman, this adorable pup, has an incredible sense of smell. His nose so powerful, it's used to sniff out cancer.
They're good sniffers.
Using the beagle's remarkable sense of smell, health startup Spot It Early has created a test for people to get pre-screened for cancer and increase chances of early detection.
Only 14% of the newly diagnosed cancers in the U.S. are done so through the routine screening. So not a lot of people are actually getting those tests on time. All we ask from the patient is to wear a mask for a few minutes, breathe into it, put it in a capsule and send it back to the lab.
CEO Shlomi Madar says once the sample is back at the lab, the beagles get to work, looking for the 4 most common types of cancer: breast, colorectal, prostate, and lung. In Spotted Early's initial clinical trials, they say the dogs detected cancer with 94% accuracy.
We pride ourselves as being able to detect cancer as early as stage 1. So if you detect cancer early enough, you can actually increase survival rate up to 99%.
The pups are picked for the job because their sense of smell is 100,000 times more sensitive than ours, allowing them to detect the equivalent of half a teaspoon of sugar in an Olympic-sized swimming pool. In the lab, their puppy power is coupled with AI to detect cancer in the breath sample.
We monitor the dog's behavior and physiological signals. So we look at things like their heart rate, their acceleration, and all that plethora of information is being fed into a machine learning algorithm. So it actually gets better with time.
To even be considered, each beagle must be trained as a sniffer dog already, then go through a rigorous training process, specifically aimed at identifying different types of cancer.
We use a lot of redundancy. So every sample is being sniffed not by one dog, but the entire pack, and more than once.
Results are provided by a healthcare professional within days who will recommend next steps with a positive test. Madar notes this screening isn't meant to replace going to a doctor. And while it is still in clinical studies in the United States, you can pre-order a test kit expected to be commercially available next year. Madar says Spotted Early can detect even more types of cancer as long as they train new packs to sniff them out. He also says that any dogs who don't pass training are donated to special needs families. In New York, Nate Foy, Fox News.
Doug is next with a complete look at your forecast, and later, release them all.
Families are whole again in Israel while others are still waiting for closure. I'm Rebecca Castor in Tel Aviv with the pressure on Hamas to return all of the hostages. Just ahead.
Hop on.
And it definitely turned out to be another warm one for us today, and our temperatures, they're going to stay up there as we go through the next couple days. We're going to stay pretty boring weather-wise, at least over the next 48 hours. Really nothing going on right now. We have some clouds to our north and to our west. Besides that, pretty much clear skies. Let's go through time. We're going to go into your Wednesday morning. We start 64-ish across the region. As we go through the morning, we warm to about 80 to 82 by the noon hour, and then by the afternoon, a nice little light southerly wind. And I think most of us 84, 85, maybe 86, especially once you get into our western counties. All right, Wednesday night, carbon copy. We do it again. Back down into low to mid 60s. And then as we go into Thursday, a few more mid and upper level clouds streaming through, but right back up, 84, 85 degrees once again. All right, day planner on Wednesday, 63 to start, 80 by noon. High temp, 85 degrees. Why are we so warm? See this twist right here, right on top of Dallas? That is a big dome of high pressure. So if you follow the arrows all the way back through Georgia, this is what we call big dome of high pressure. Until it breaks down, we're not going to see any changes. Guess what? It starts to break down as we head toward the weekend. With it, we get a cold front and we get some thunderstorms. So in the yellow, we have the chances to get some stronger storms, maybe a little beefy, late Friday night into Saturday. And then on Saturday, this kind of slides off toward the east. Stronger storms, kind of low-grade severe storms, but we're on that backside. So if this system slows down just a bit, we may need to watch it on Saturday as well. Most of Friday is going to be dry, but as we get into Friday evening, scattered showers and thunderstorms kind of getting going along that I-35 corridor. Hopefully, we can get some high school football in before those make it in. Stronger thunderstorms work in Friday night into Saturday morning. I think these will eject east, but then some redevelopment along that I-44 corridor as we get into the early afternoon. So we're going to watch that, and then all this rotates out Saturday night. We clear out, but look at these temps, upper 40s by Sunday morning. All right, potential rainfall. We're 3-4 days out. This just gives you an idea. We should see widespread quarter of an inch, maybe half an inch across the region. All right, so our big dome of high pressure, watch it break down. Here comes this system that affects us as we go into Friday and Saturday. It will push east. Here comes the ridge again. So we warm up next week. Right behind it, another storm system moves in the middle of the week. Then back to the ridge, warm up again. Another storm system. So it stays very active as we go through the next couple weeks. 85 on your Wednesday, 84 Thursday, 84 on Friday. A little bit cooler, 78 Saturday, 72 on Sunday, and cooler overnight lows.
Well, coming up next, easing the pain at the pump.
If you still drive a car that takes gasoline, I've got good news for you. Jeff Locke with the Fox Business Network in Philadelphia. The average gallon of regular, how much is it? We'll tell you when we come back.
The price of gas is coming down. Fox Business correspondent Jeff Locke is in Philadelphia with a look at the numbers.
The president said the U.S. was going to drill, baby, drill, and that is kind of what's happened. Setting an all-time record in July for the amount of oil pumped out of the ground here in the U.S., and that, in part, is starting to have an impact on gasoline prices. A little higher than the national average at the station behind me here in Philadelphia. We're down to $3.07 for the average gallon of regular nationally. That's about a nickel cheaper than it was a week ago, a dime cheaper than a month ago, and it's not nickels and dimes when you fill up your tank. 33 states now have an average gas price below $3. Oklahoma leads the way on the low end, $2.57. No surprise, California on the high end at $4.66. Why is there plenty of oil and not as much demand? Well, according to the oil analyst Andy Lippow, talking to Fox Business Network, some people aren't even putting any gas in their tanks anymore.
Increasing sales of electric and hybrid cars that are replacing gasoline-powered cars on the road is negatively impacting on gasoline demand. And of course, that helps temper increases in gasoline prices into the future.
Of course, low gasoline prices, low oil prices are a double-edged sword. Good news for anyone driving a car, but not so much if you work in the oil patch. ExxonMobil, 2,000 layoffs in the oil patch so far this year. Chevron, about 8,000 after their merger with Hess. ConocoPhillips and BP also in the thousands, a total of about 20,000 layoffs in the oil patch, but that's the way it goes. Supply and demand. Drill, baby, drill. Good news out on the roads, maybe not so much if you work in oil. In Philadelphia, I'm Jeff Locke with the Fox Business Network.
Well, coming up next, Taco Tuesday turns into a delicious showdown in Carthage. Taco Tuesday took over Carthage Central Park this evening. The Carthage, Missouri Chamber of Commerce hosted the event as part of this week's Maple Leaf Festival activities. Celebration featured a taco contest where local vendors competed for the best tacos in town, with award announcements and all the proceeds supporting Carthage R9 scholarships.
I am delighted and proud and with great honor because this is so important when we all unite together as one. That's what it's all about. We come with flavors. In our culture, food, it brings everybody together. It never fails us. So this is a testimony of bringing our community, sharing our recipes, all for a good cause.
Attendees enjoyed live music from Mariachi Flor while sampling delicious tacos and voting for their favorites. Well, if you're looking for fun fall events right here in the 4 states but don't know where to turn, we've got you covered. Just scan this handy QR code and head straight to the events page of our website, KOAMnewsnow.com. That's where you'll find information on all kinds of family fun events, including fall festivals and some scary and not so scary haunted houses. That's the events page at KOAMnewsnow.com. 30 more minutes of news, weather, and sports coming your way. Miami residents get answers about the B.F. Goodrich cleanup efforts, and hostage releases continue, but tensions remain high in the Gaza region.
Your area. You're watching the 4 states most watched news.
This is KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14. I'm Tanya Bach. Representatives from Michelin face questions from the public tonight about ongoing efforts to clean up benzene contamination at Miami's old BF Goodrich tire plant. KOAM's Blake Goley was there as residents learned about the groundwater treatment system and what's next.
Decades after the BF Goodrich tire plant shut down, work continues to clean up contaminated groundwater beneath the property. Michelin, now responsible for the site, says the treatment system is showing results in removing harmful chemicals like benzene, which can cause long-term health risk.
It is an effective technology for removing benzene mass from the subsurface, and it is working as designed, just based on the operations monitoring data that we've collected, then and also some of the groundwater monitoring data that's been collected. Benzene and LNAPL mass in the subsurface continue to be removed, again, based on the data that we've collected, and that is being treated.
Company leaders say the cleanup system has been running smoothly and continues to reduce contamination underground. They emphasize that the technology is working and it is cleaning the groundwater while keeping emissions within safe limits. Still, some residents say that they want more transparency, especially for the families who live or go to school near the site.
There's a lot of families, a lot of kids that go to school right next door to it, and just so that they would have some peace of mind.
For longtime residents and activists, that peace of mind has been decades in the making.
I myself worked in one of those buildings for 15 years when the plant was operating. All of us worried during the years of operation, and then when it went quiet, it went silent, we wondered what lay beneath, and now we know there really is a substance down there, and we're really gonna not rest until it's all gone.
Reporting in Miami, Blake Gully, KOAM News.
Michelin says the groundwater treatment system will continue operating into 2026 with more progress expected in the months ahead. Well, Charlie Kirk supporters gathered in Joplin's Landreth Park this evening on what would have been the conservative activist's 32nd birthday. The tribute to Kirk included worship songs, inspirational messages, and personal stories about how Kirk changed lives. The Joplin Area Ministerial Alliance partnered with Turning Point USA to host the event. And earlier today, President Trump posthumously awarded Charlie Kirk with the nation's highest civilian honor, the Presidential Medal of Freedom. The president presented the medal to Kirk's wife, Erica Kirk, in the White House Rose Garden.
Today we're here to honor and remember a fearless warrior for liberty, beloved leader who galvanized the next generation like nobody I've ever seen before, and an American patriot of the deepest conviction, the finest quality and the highest caliber, the late, great Charlie Kirk.
The House and Senate approved resolutions last month making today a National Day of Remembrance for Kirk. A fragile peace that's holding in Gaza could be tested by a tenuous few days ahead. And right now, Israel is chiefly concerned with the return of the remaining deceased hostages still held by Hamas. Fox News correspondent Rebecca Castor reports.
Families are whole again, with 20 hostages returning to Israel Monday and spending the night with their families for the first time in 2 years.
Every time I see him, I go and hug him and, I touch him to make sure that it is really happening. It's still very hard to believe.
But still unresolved is the return of the deceased hostages. 4 more coffins were returned by Hamas Tuesday, bringing the total this week to 8. But 20 families are still waiting for closure.
We cannot rest and we cannot heal until they're all home.
If the remaining hostages are not returned within 72 hours, an international task force will start working to locate them.
This is not acceptable. This is a clear violation of the agreement.
Though President Trump has declared the war in Gaza is over, there's still tension in the region. Israel Defense Forces report it fired shots at several people crossing the yellow line and approaching its troops. And Hamas still has not officially agreed to give up its weapons and to militarize the Gaza Strip.
If they don't disarm, we will disarm them. They know I'm not playing games.
And the humanitarian operation to help Palestinians is only just beginning. Groups are working around the clock to deliver much-needed aid, but there are so many in need, and deliveries can be difficult or even dangerous.
We need to flood Gaza with food and as quickly as possible.
The UN estimates rebuilding Gaza will cost about $70 billion. In Tel Aviv, Rebecca Castor, Fox News.
Today, Israel says it would have the number of aid trucks allowed into Gaza until all the hostages have been returned. Officials in Gaza say the widespread destruction in the territory is making the handover difficult. Well, Doug is next with a complete look at your forecast. And later, Gen Z college students face a growing gambling addiction crisis.
What if you could connect a culture and Spiva Center for the Arts?
And it definitely turned out to be another warm one for us today, and our temperatures, they're going to stay up there as we go through the next couple days. We're going to stay pretty boring weather-wise, at least over the next 48 hours. Really nothing going on right now. We have some clouds to our north and to our west. Besides that, pretty much clear skies. Let's go through time. We're going to go into your Wednesday morning. We start 64-ish across the region. As we go through the morning, we warm to about 80 to 82 by the noon hour, and then by the afternoon, a nice little light southerly wind. And I think most of us 84, 85, maybe 86, especially once you get into our western counties. All right, Wednesday night, carbon copy. We do it again, back down into low to mid 60s. And then as we go into Thursday, a few more mid and upper level clouds streaming through, but right back up, 84. 85 degrees once again. All right, day planner on Wednesday, 63 to start, 80 by noon. High temp, 85 degrees. Why are we so warm? See this twist right here, right on top of Dallas? That is a big dome of high pressure. So if you follow the arrows all the way back through Georgia, this is what we call big dome of high pressure. Until it breaks down, we're not going to see any changes. Guess what? It starts to break down as we head toward the weekend. With it, we get a cold front and we get some thunderstorms. So in the yellow, we have the chances to get some stronger storms, maybe a little beefy, late Friday night into Saturday. And then on Saturday, this kind of slides off toward the east. Stronger storms, kind of low-grade severe storms, but we're on that backside. So if this system slows down just a bit, we may need to watch it on Saturday as well. Most of Friday is going to be dry, but as we get into Friday evening, scattered showers and thunderstorms kind of getting going along that I-35 corridor. Hopefully, we can get some high school football in before those make it in. Stronger thunderstorms work in Friday night into Saturday morning. I think these will eject east, but then some redevelopment along that I-44 corridor as we get into the early afternoon. So we're going to watch that, and then all this rotates out Saturday night. We clear out, but look at these temps, upper 40s by Sunday morning. All right, potential rainfall. We're 3-4 days out. This just gives you an idea. We should see widespread, quarter of an inch, maybe half an inch across the region. All right, so our big dome of high pressure. Watch it break down. Here comes this system that affects us as we go into Friday and Saturday. It will push east. Here comes the ridge again. So we warm up next week. Right behind it, another storm system moves in the middle of the week. Then back to the ridge, warm up again. Another storm system. So it stays very active as we go through the next couple weeks. 85 on your Wednesday, 84 Thursday, 84 on Friday. A little bit cooler, 78 Saturday, 72 on Sunday, and cooler overnight lows.
All right, thanks, Doug. Still ahead, the people have spoken as we announce the winner for Performance of the Week from last Friday's high school football action. And another Pitt State football star receives weekly honors after the Gorillas' big win over Washburn on Saturday. We'll have those details and more coming up in sports.
We are warm again for Wednesday, but watch.
Stay informed your way.
The Kansas City Chiefs are coming off a statement win on Sunday over the Detroit Lions at home. And over the last 3 weeks, the Chiefs' offense has hit their stride. In each of the last 3 games, the Kansas City offense has scored at least 28 points. A key for this success has, of course, been the return of Xavier Worthy following his shoulder injury, but what stands out is the unselfish nature of this receiver room. The Chiefs pass catchers have adopted the phrase, everybody's gotta eat, emphasizing that everyone is going to get their turn making the big play. On Sunday, you saw that with Travis Kelce's season-high 78 yards, Juju Smith-Schuster's big 30-yard catch, along with Xavier Worthy finding the end zone for the first time this season, and Hollywood Brown scoring twice. With the return of Rashee Rice coming this week, the KC offense is proving that they're one of the best in the league.
We got a lot of alphas in the room, and we understand your week is different each week, but that don't change how you come to work. That don't change how you play hard for each other. And e.g., everybody got to eat. And those are my brothers. We all been through a lot of stuff, individually. So, it's a moment, we're not going to take for granted. We're going to play hard for each other, and we're looking forward to it.
The great thing about this offense is it can come from everywhere. Obviously, Hollywood, Taekwon's had big games, Xavier's had big games, Travis, obviously, other guys, and then now we're getting Rasheed back. And so it's all about building depth. I think that Veach has done a great job with that. And those guys love each other. That receiving room, they love each other, and they want each other to do good. And so when you have that mindset as a whole room, you can have a lot of success.
At the center of the offense's success is, of course, the star quarterback Patrick Mahomes. On Sunday, the three-time Super Bowl MVP hit another milestone, becoming the fastest quarterback to 300 career passing touchdowns, breaking Aaron Rodgers' record by 8 games.
It's extremely cool. I mean, I've been blessed. I always say it, and I mean it. Like, I've been blessed. Like, I drafted here in Kansas City, a great community, great ownership, and then getting one of the best football coaches of all time and some of the greatest players of all time around me. And so it makes my job a lot easier when I'm able to throw to some great ones. And let's continue it. Let's have some fun, and we've got a long career ahead, and we'll see how many we can get to.
The Chiefs are back in action on Sunday against the Raiders as KC looks to get above 500 for the first time this season. Every Friday night on our weekly Press Box show, we ask you, the viewers, to vote on who you think had the performance of the week. And after a strong list of candidates from last Friday night, the pick is in. Colgan's Clayton Adamson is the winner of our Week 6 Performance of the Week after his monster game under the lights on Friday night. The Panthers star running back led the way with 5 touchdowns in just the first half in Colgan's big win over Jayhawk Lynn. Adamson's been a key piece of the offense this entire season as the Panthers are off to a perfect 6-0 start to the year. We encourage you to get involved and get in on the fun every weekend by voting for the Performance of the Week at KOAMnews.com/pigskin. Clayton Adamson isn't the only local athlete to receive weekly recognition, as another Pitt State Gorilla has received Player of the Week honors for their efforts on the field. Pitt State kicker Austin Schmidt has been named the MIAA Special Teams Player of the Week. In the Gorillas' win over Washburn on Saturday, Schmidt connected on a pair of field goals from 33 and 42 yards, but he also had one of the top moments of the day. Late in the fourth quarter, Pitt State ran a fake field goal, and Schmidt rushed into the end zone for his first career touchdown. And this wasn't just his first score in the Crimson and Gold, but Schmidt's first ever touchdown in his life. Quite a moment for him. Great to see him kind of get to experience something he's never had, and then, of course, get the recognition from the conference as well.
Yeah, that's nice. And it's always good to come out with a win.
Absolutely. They're on fire. 5 wins in a row.
Yeah, we love it. All right, we're back with more news after this. A new study reveals college students are more prone to developing a gambling addiction because of their age. This comes as college students try to navigate student loan debt and sinking credit scores. Fox News' Ted Linder has more.
With the school year and football season in full swing, a new study is shedding light on the rise of gambling addiction among college students nationwide.
They're at an age where it's really developmentally appropriate for them to be taking more risks and engaging in sort of sensation-seeking behavior.
The study out of the University of Mississippi found that nearly 40% of college students in the Magnolia State had gambled in the past year. But they're not alone. Previous data reveals college students across other states are in a similar boat.
There are other studies across the U.S. that have found even higher prevalence, so 50%, 60% that are engaging in some type of gambling behavior.
University of Mississippi researchers say easy access to gambling plays a part.
Students can now bet not only on the outcome of a game, but also on every single play that takes place.
But researchers say it's not the only thing to blame, with many college kids having close proximity to sporting events and a new sense of independence.
You have a lot less oversight from family members, adults in your life, so you sort of feel this interest and desire to be involved in the athletics that are happening on your campus.
And financial experts say money lost from gambling can hurt college students already facing financial woes, citing how many in Gen Z are experiencing shrinking credit scores and racking up large amounts of student loan debt.
Gen Z got hit the hardest. Their average dropped 3 points.
Researchers say it's critical to provide students with the proper resources to help them navigate their finances and avoid gambling problems.
Our counseling centers, our health services centers need to be able to have a plan in place.
Ted Linder, Fox News.
Up next, Swift closes an era. Shyamalan tackles Magic 8 Ball and Bridgerton returns. That's coming up in Hollywood Nation. From Taylor Swift's grand finale to M. Night Shyamalan's new psychological thriller, Fox's Ashley Dvorkin has those stories and more in today's Hollywood Nation.
Shyamalan starting on your left-hand side.
Shyamalan shakes the Magic 8 Ball, Bridgerton begins a new chapter, and Swift closes out an era in the Hollywood Nation.
The Eras Tour wasn't when all the pieces fell into place.
Taylor Swift is closing out a record-breaking chapter. The pop superstar announced Taylor Swift the Eras Tour, the final show, a concert film capturing her last performance in Vancouver, Canada in December 2024. She's also releasing a 6-episode behind-the-scenes docu-series, The End of an Era, offering an intimate look at Swift's life on the road, the tour's creative process, and appearances from friends and collaborators. Both debut on Disney Plus December 12th. M. Night Shyamalan is bringing an iconic toy to the screen. The filmmaker will direct a live-action Magic 8 Ball series for Mattel, while co-creating and executive producing alongside Glee co-creator Brad Falchuk, who is writing the show. The series reimagines the classic toy as the centerpiece of a supernatural psychological thriller.
With each passing season,
Netflix returns to the ton with a new chapter of Bridgerton. Season 4 of the hit period drama will debut in 2 parts, with the first arriving January 29th, followed by the second half February 26th. The story centers on Luke Thompson's Benedict Bridgerton, whose free-spirited lifestyle is challenged after meeting a mysterious lady in silver at a masquerade ball. In Hollywood, Ashley Dvorkin, Fox News.
That's our time for tonight. Thank you for joining us. We're going to leave you with video of a tiger enjoying his pumpkin treat. Look at him get it at the Milwaukee County Zoo. Have a great night and an even better tomorrow.